What's up, lunatics? I'm Moon Spirit, and welcome back to Maytroidvania! You know something? Making video games must be quite the time investment. I don't know how to make games, but I'm sure it would take years to make. There are some that took too long to make, sometimes because of changing studios, sometimes the idea becomes too ambitious, and sometimes it could be down to hardware limitations. Either way, it turned out great, turned out bad, or turned out like Duke Nukem Forever. Now that, I plan to cover that game in the future. And this game took over 10 years to make, and it came out in late 2016. Owlboy. Owlboy's creation of, I'm probably gonna butcher this, Simon Staffsness Anderson in D-Pad Studios. It came out during the hype of the high-bit era of games. High-bit meaning games with a pixelated retro look, but with more production values to meet modern standards. Games like Sonic Mania, Katana Zero, and Hyper Light Drifter, just to name a few. And when this game came out, a lot of my peers praised it, and I can't believe it took me this long to get it, mostly because I wanted it physically. My waiting paid off since I got one on Switch. But does this game deserve all the praise it got years ago? Or does it reach too high and end up crashing down? Well, I'm here to don my owl cowl and take flight. This is Owlboy. Otis is the goodest of boys that must be protected. I mean it! Otis is the owl apprentice of Osseo, but the poor lad just can't catch a break, especially since he is a mute and becomes a disappointment to his mentor. But what kind of a teacher gets everyone to talk down on him like that, especially his fellow owls? Don't you badmouth my good owl boy, you monsters! Luckily, he has Getty as his only friend in this quaint little sky village of Veli. While on lookout for a troublemaker in a cave, sky pirates attack the village, and apparently they seem to have some sort of relic, and they plan to attack the capital of Advent. Looks like it's up to Otis and Getty to stop these aerial buccaneers once and for all. And along the way, he'll get help from former pirate Alphonse and former pirate ally Twig. But most importantly, it's time for Otis to get some restitution and be the hero he deserves to be. Luckily, you do meet a lot of characters along the way, like Solus, who is also bullied by the other owls. But there is a mysterious hooded figure that seems to play a part of this whole grand scheme. In case you haven't noticed, holy skies of Arcadia! This game is absolutely gorgeous! No wonder this game took nearly 10 years to make. Just look at all the highly detailed pixelated art! You can see a lot of detail on these owl statues. See how much detail they put in the pirate ship! The darkened steel doors, the glowing of the lanterns, and all that wood! The pixels on all the wooden pieces are just exquisite! Sorry, I know I'm salivating here, but I can't help it. This truly is the hallmark of high bit. Bravo, Simon! The pixel animation also has to be just as good, and it is. Look how the big pirate boy stomps with that scallywag swagger. You really see the emotions on a lot of the characters you meet. You cannot unsee Osseo's complete content whenever he sees Otis. And how could you not feel for Otis whenever he frowns or gets depressed? You would do anything to see him smile. The music is wonderfully crafted, and we can thank Jonathan Gear for the good work. He knows how to craft a grand orchestral score for this game. The Owl Temple is mystical, the pirate ship has a very ominous vibe, and the boss things are exciting. All of them, in fact. But allow me to let y'all breathe in the swelling song that is Tropos. That is the musical manifestation of flight. I feel like I could just fly if I wanted to. But there is a great balance with the story's tone and themes. When things get serious, you can feel the tension in the air, like seeing the pirates attacking the capital. But when it needs to get funny, you can always rely on Buccanary and her Bogwins. She treats Otis so friendly-like, but deep down, she treats these penguin-like creatures so badly, even though the Bogwins seem derpy from time to time. But friendship truly is the glue that keeps the bond of Otis and company together. Yeah, it sounds corny and all, but play the game, you'll feel it. Okay, I'm kinda cheating on this theme month here because Owlboy only has light Metroidvania elements as this game is mostly an adventure platformer.
Well, actually, adventure platformers are usually labeled as Metroidvanias anyway.
Nerd! Anywho, this game is obviously way different than any other games of this genre because you can fly in this game, or fly roll if you want a slight speed boost, like Link's exploitable roll. I literally do it all the time. But Otis is not much of a fighter though, since his spin attack is not good for taking out enemies, and he can get bad knockbacks, especially since they can put Otis out of commission for a while, which would lead to his demise, and it's frustrating. Thankfully, his partners help him with the offense, like Getty being the center shooter. Alphonse can blast a huge fiery spread shot that can also obliterate some obstacles, and Twig can be used to zip across areas or incapacitate enemies. I do have to mention one temporary ally that is very helpful, but the moral of this game is that he gets by with a little help from his friends. I do have some nitpicks to address, like the controls on the Switch. The jump and dodge buttons are relegated to the A and B button respectively, and that kinda throws me off because it's usually the other way around. Yet every time I want to jump, I end up pushing the dodge button instead, leading to some unintentional deaths, and that really chafes my balls. But the worst of it is that you can't remap the buttons, so I played the game again on Steam to see if it was any better, and it was. The buttons are in the right places and they can be remapped. How could this have happened? And one more gripe. There is no map for you in case you needed to revisit areas and dungeons, especially because these places are too expansive when looking for anything you missed. Speaking of which, I like how varied they are, kinda like playing an aerial version of Legend of Zelda. The Village Cave is a great starting dungeon that gets you familiar with your moves, but the layered dungeons get a lot more complex. The Owl Temple relies on using clouds and water to get past obstacles. The Floating Continent needs you to be cautious since you'll spend mostly in spiky and cramped spaces and in darkness. The Lava Temple can kiss my ass though, and you can thank those damn monkeys. But the pirate ship needs you to be stealthy since the pirates are mostly invincible to your attacks. I won't spoil the last place here, but the breadth and scope of it will feel overwhelming. But one thing for sure is, the puzzles utilize Otis's owl capabilities nicely too. You will mostly be picking up items and placing them on platform switches. Owls are known for using their talents, so it only makes sense. And the only way to heal is to eat the veggies and fruits you'll pick off as well. But keep an eye out for rings and treasure chests as they contain Buccaneer coins, which you get items from her shop. Though they mostly aren't gratifying to get because they range from cosmetic hats to slightly better weapons for your partners, but increased health is a good bonus. There are special golden discs that unlock the deeper lore of the owls, though they aren't necessary to finish the game. Speaking of finishing the game, things do not go well for Otis and company. Captain Molstrom, leader of the pirates, uses a powerful relic to destroy the capital in one fell swoop, and it's shown in one single moment. Damn! So many lives were lost, and Getty and Otis are pretty broken up about it. But according to Alphonse, this is not the end of Molstrom's attacks, as he explains the origins of him, the pirates, and himself, and it gets real deep. Turns out they were robots created by the owls of centuries past until the owls vanished. Molstrom was a warbot gone rogue and had a thirst for power and sought after the owl relics that would grant the user unspeakable power. And Otis and friends are determined to retrieve the relics from the grasp of Captain Molstrom. It seems our hooded man is working in league with the pirates, or it seems at least since he's having doubts of his allegiance with them. And after failing to get the final relic, pirate ally Twig was abandoned by the pirates and joins their cause. Everyone eventually catches up with the relics, but they must confront Captain Molstrom in order to do that. But the hooded figure, who's revealed to be Solus, steals back the relics and takes them up high into a place where no one can seem to reach. But the day gets worse as it appears to be the world is crumbling and becoming unsafe for everyone. Even his mentor Osseo is mentally wrecked that he is powerless to do anything. At least he reconciles with Otis, and Otis forgives him.
Yes! Thank you! This is all that I asked for, and our goodest boy is redeemed!
But this is no time to get sentimental because Otis and company have a world to save. Thanks to a scholar's experimental rocket, everyone arrives at the Owl Tower. There, they find Solus, but he refuses to explain his actions as they reach the top of the tower, where he performs a ritual to use the relics. Stopping Solus commences an epic fight as Solus uses the relics to fight back, and it gets surreal and exciting. Once Solus is defeated, he reveals he's not using the relics for power as Molstrom demonstrated, but to be used to end something the owls of the past have wrought.
But sit back, lunatics, because this is where shit gets absolutely real.
Apparently, the ancient owls created the Hex relics, which had enough power to alter the very laws of the universe, and they were trying to stop what was called the loop. Nobody knows what it is, but they were so obsessed with it, but by using the relics, it created the Hex, an event that altered the very planet itself by lifting all the world's land masses into the floating islands that became their world, the world below being nothing but ocean. And it gets worse because all the land masses are still floating up and will continue to do so, which means it is the end of the world. And that was what Solus was doing, creating an anti-hex to stop the end of the world.
Well, we gone from stopping air pirates to stopping a cataclysmic event. Shit just got real.
Unfortunately, Maelstrom suddenly appears just as the world is becoming undone. But the big finale doesn't have a huge fight with Maelstrom since he's way too strong and Otis is squashed quickly. Instead, it's a power struggle as Solus gives Otis the power of the relics, so Otis can create the anti-hex to prevent the end of the world, just as everyone tries to stop Maelstrom. And oh boy, the tension here is astronomical, as you can really feel the struggle as Otis tries so hard to just crawl his way to his goal, until he eventually regains his strength, while everyone uses all their might to hold back Maelstrom. And after much struggle, Otis succeeds in creating the anti-hex, which destroys Maelstrom and brings the world back into one piece. But not before Otis is taken to another dimension where he speaks to what seems to be the spirits of several of his peers and his mentor, where Otis can finally speak. Holy shit, this is monumental! All that can be said through this conversation is this: the world will be fine, so will everyone, as they now have a new lease in life, thanks to Otis. The game ends as Otis falls into the newly reformed world. Does he survive? That's up to us to decide. Aw man, making us guess the ending like Inception? Boo!
Whew, but hot damn, what a game! I must say, Owlboy was a great time. That's why Owlboy is a flying wonder.
D-Pad Studios outdid themselves with this game, and I'm glad I finally took the time to play this. The game is actually not too long, nor is it expensive, which means you can get more bang for your buck on this one. You will get lost in this well-crafted pixel art world, and the story will grip you in. But man, just play this game for the soundtrack alone. I look forward to what D-Pad Studios does in the future. If it's anything like Owlboy, then I'm spreading my wings and flying to whatever comes their way.
But that's all the time I have for y'all today, so be sure to like this vid, subscribe, and share it across the web. Would you kindly? Till then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night.